While I'm not sure if the American dream is still achievable in this day and age, it is something that we all strive to obtain, whether we're from the United States or not. The official definition of the American dream, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is this: the ideal that every citizen of the United States should have an equal opportunity to achieve success and prosperity through hard work, determination, and initiative. Now you're probably asking yourself right now, Cook, why are you bringing up the American dream in a video about Warframe when the United States doesn't even exist in the Warframe universe? And that's honestly not a bad question, because you're right, America doesn't exist in Warframe. But I would argue that an American does exist in Warframe, when it has accomplished the dream, and that American is Councilor Vay Hek.
Dano! You think you're winning? You have only been attacking the auxiliary corps! Did you really believe it would be this easy?
My English teachers of past would honestly be really proud of me for writing this script and creating this video, not because of the constant grammatical errors or the considerable profanity, but because I'm actually incorporating a theme into this video. So if you're one of my past English teachers, please give me a shout out in the comments, and thank you for passing me in years that maybe I probably shouldn't have passed, but we don't talk about that. Anyway, Councilor Vay Hek wasn't always the loud, aggressive, and attention-grabbing leader that we know and love. From the Ascension comments, we actually learn that he was originally more of a joke. He held the rank of counselor, but only in title. He had no actual power. Not only that, but he was considerably friendlier and anxiety-ridden from what we can tell. However, for what he lacked in power and prestige, he made up for in pure ambition. He believed that he could rise through the ranks through hard work, determination, and initiative. So when Dr. Tingus approached him with a very interesting research proposal, Vay Hek was more than willing to pour every bit of the resources that he did have into it. Together, Vay Hek and Dr. Tingus managed to produce what we now know as the Grineer ghouls. Powerful, ruthless, and cheap Grineer shock troops that are honestly straight out of a horror story. Both Tingus and Vay Hek believe that their creation would change the entire way the Grineer army operates, with cheaper and quicker to produce troops that are arguably even more dangerous and powerful than the average clone. Vay Hek saw this discovery as his and Tingus's chance to shoot up the ranks of the Grineer and gain admiration and respect from the queens they love so much. Tingus saw it as his chance to rise up, and he likely thought that he would gain a position similar to Tal Regger, a position where essentially you can use resources for whatever kind of projects you want without having to really answer to anybody. Well, at first, floundering the presentation of the ghouls, things started to go Vay Hek's way when he actually showed what he and Tingus created. I think it's very important to acknowledge that Vay Hek gave full credit to Dr. Tingus and included him in the presentation to ensure that he got credit, which makes these next actions by Dr. Tingus all the more diabolical. While showcasing the ghouls, Dr. Tingus would come from behind Vay Hek and push him into the enclosure, resulting in the ghouls tearing the good counselor apart. The queens were amused by his display. However, they ordered Tingus to fix the funny little man, their direct words, since they believed he might provide more amusement. The creation of the ghouls, while they did impress the queens, was not enough for Vay Hek to be seen as more than a joke. However, it was the start of his rise through the ranks. Being partly responsible for the creation of the ghouls did help boost his reputation, but the real thing that pushed him into the path of pure dominance was the lesson he learned from Dr. Tingus. That lesson is to always look out for yourself. Dr. Tingus attempted to kill Vay Hek to ensure they got all the credit for the ghouls and could rise through the ranks without him. And Tingus wasn't punished at all for his attempted assassination. Vay Hek, seeing this, adopted Tingus's policy of self-growth no matter what. He developed the true meaning of the American dream. Before the events that happened in the Ascension comics, Vay Hek looked like an incredibly basic Grineer. Essentially, he held the same exact appearance as a Grineer Butcher, which isn't surprising since every Grineer is supposed to look alike anyway. The only way Grineer ever look different is if their faces are more decayed than others, or if they have some unique body modifications or armor. However, after being torn into pieces by ghouls, which was probably pretty painful by the way, Vay Hek is now probably the most unique looking Grineer in the game. If you can honestly even classify him as a Grineer biologically still, since he's basically all machine. I'll be ripping the description of him from his Villainpedia page, since I do think that does him justice, and I'm an idiot. So this is a ripped, I'm stealing this. Here it is. Due to his mutilation, Councilor Vay Hek was reconstructed with extensive body modifications. Only his face has any visible flesh left and is attached via an elongated neck to a heavily armored yellow mechanical suit, which allows him to fly and attach himself into a large terraframe armor should he need a significant increase in firepower. His cyborg body also includes 2 machine guns and an armored face mask to protect his head in combat situations. His terraframe is a massive, bird-like exoskeleton. Despite its size and weight, the terraframe is surprisingly agile and armed with a drone launcher on its left and a large rocket launcher shaped like the Hek shotgun on its right. There's absolutely zero chance that I can come up with a better description on my own, and so once again, credit to Slender Minion for writing his page on the Villainpedia. You have a way with words, my guy. You should write poetry. I love you, and I just stole your work. Thank you. Before we get too far into this video, I would appreciate a like, sub, or comment. Maybe even all 3 if you're really feeling like a saint. I mean, this video took a considerable amount of time, as you guys can see since my last upload, and I really want it to become the first video that shows up when you search my name. And doing those things will help with that. Alright, enough pathetic begging everybody. Let's move on to talking about Vay Hek's personality. There's honestly not a whole lot of redeemable traits when it comes to his personality. In all honesty, his personality post-Ascension comics is incredibly one-note and overly aggressive. His 3 biggest traits are yelling, threatening violence, and enjoying violence, if we're being just completely honest here.
Keeping track of things like shopping and to-do lists.
Paper.Alexa, add wrapping paper to the shopping list.
You are only delaying the inevitable.
Alexa, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
You imbeciles!
Okay. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes.
No!
He has zero empathy for anyone else, and has zero loyalty to anyone besides the Twin Queens. He often sacrifices hordes upon hordes of his own troops to accomplish small, almost meaningless goals. Goals that a more intelligent tactician could probably accomplish with ease. Unlike Talregger and even Captain Vor, the loss of huge amounts of Grineer life don't really seem to bother him at all, and helping fund demonic, inhumane creations like the ghouls doesn't faze him either. It's uncommon for a Grineer to have a lot of empathy, but to be completely devoid of it like Vay Hek is equally as rare. While Vay Hek is far from intelligent, he doesn't seem to possess a great tactical or scientific mind, unlike his high-ranking counterparts, Regor and Vor. I am dick riding them because I like them a lot. But moving on. Not to mention, any slight against Vay Hek causes him to have unrivaled amounts of rage, with him being responsible for most of the direct conflicts with the Corpus. Basically, Vay Hek is the ultimate underhanded asshole who only looks out for himself and believes the only way to solve things is with insane amounts of violence and huge amounts of Grineers dying. He is not a good guy. Moving on. After the Ascension comics, Vay Hek was doing whatever it took to further his rank and importance in the Grineer Empire, including more unethical experiments with Mr. Dr. Tingus. You guys are saying it's Tengus? I'm saying it's Tingus Pingus on my dingus. So that's how you pronounce it, because I said it, Tingus the Warframe lore guy.
Fucking Tingus Pingus! I never heard of fucking Lativia! You drafted this fucking kid! You stupid motherfuckers, you!
Anyway, he was doing some unethical experiments with Dr. Tingus and some shady political deals that we don't really fully know about. One of these experiments was the Grustdrag 3, possibly one of the most immoral creations by Dr. Tingus and Vay Hek, second to only the creation of the ghouls. The Grustdrag 3 are made up of 3 Grineer clones who went completely haywire on a ride in a troop transport. The 3 Grineer, Leektir, Shiktau, and Vim Tabuk. And by went haywire, I mean that they literally slaughtered every single one of their comrades on the troop transport ship. These guys are not nice. Actually, I go as far to say is they're downright mean. And when Dr. Tingus asked what their reasoning was for the violence, he was told they got impatient for the killing. They were bored, guys! I just need to kill all my friends because I'm fucking bored! Anyway, to avoid going into every single little detail with the Grusdrag 3, since I've already done that literally in the last video, I'll go ahead and tell you why they're important to our favorite half cyborg and half Grineer. Honestly, it's more like 99% cyborg, but you get the point. Basically, they have several weird mutations that make them extraordinarily powerful, but also more prone to violence that leads to fratricide. Dr. Tingus acknowledged this powerful defect and found a way to somewhat control the Grusdrag 3. Even though friendly casualties were still prominent, they were lessened by the Grusdrag bolts that Tingus created. Tingus, after the events of Ascension, is a subordinate of Vay Hek, and reconditioned the 3 on his orders, which essentially means that Vay Hek was partly responsible, if not mostly responsible, for the existence of the Grusdrag 3, who we now know as the Tenno Hunters, who have a literal 1% chance of showing up in any Grineer missions after being on that mission for 5 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's the reason that I'm not using my own footage when it comes to the Grusdrag 3. My jaw actually dropped after looking at their spawn chance. I couldn't believe that it was true. And you have to wait 5 minutes for there even be even a chance they spawn? Complete and utter bullshit. If you think, I think you can buy something to spawn them instantly, but who even gives a shit at this point? Because I have to wait for a weekly rotation for that, and even then it's not guaranteed. Anyway, supporting the creation of the Grusdrag 3 actually created some enemies for Vay Hek within the Grineer Empire, or at least one enemy in particular, General Sargus Rook, who criticized Vay Hek for making the individuals who slaughtered their brothers even more powerful than they already were. If you haven't already been able to tell, fellow Grineer lives aren't super important to Vay Hek, as long as their deaths help forward his agenda in some way. Another thing that I wanted to mention in this section, because I don't really think that it's deserving of its own section, is one of Vay Hek's shady political deals with Kella D. Thane. Apparently Vay Hek is a particularly powerful and violent clone named Vay Multa under his command, who Miss Kella had taken a liking to. In exchange for handing over this clone to Kella to use in her Rathum events, Kella pledged to support Vay Hek both monetarily and politically. I think that this is somewhat important to bring up because it shows Vay Hek has weird connections with a lot of high-ranking Grineer, which is likely how he got his spot as the leading everything of the Grineer military pretty much. Very few Grineer are outside of his control. For some reason, the only Grineer leader that really seems to be involved with the Plains of Eidolon is Councilor Vay Hek. And oh boy, does he hate every single living thing in existence when it comes to the plains. I mean, bro has led constant attacks on the Ostron that live there, the wildlife in the plains, and even the rocks. There is nothing there that he likes, besides for the potential powerful weapon that he's looking for in Seiya's Vigil. A fun fact about Seiya's Vigil, according to the wiki, is that it's actually our first chronological interaction with Councilor Vay Hek when it comes to Warframe history. Meaning, it's the first time that we met him, not the first, it's not like before the Ascension comics in the timeline, it's just the first time we actually see him as a Tenno in the game. Obviously, anyone who's ever played Warframe for an extended period of time already knew who Vay Hek was when coming into the Seiya's Vigil quest. However, for new players, this is supposed to be the first mission that you actually encounter him and learn who he is, which is a pretty interesting tidbit of information. It kind of explains his interactions with us throughout the quest. Anyway, in Seiya's Vigil, Vay Hek learned about an ancient legend where an ultra-powerful glass warrior slew a giant sentient monster long ago. Honestly, it's not really even a legend, since you can still see the giant corpse of the sentient in the Plains of Eidolon, particularly in the giant lake in the middle of the map. But anyway, this legend, that definitely very obviously actually happened and is easily authenticated, piqued Vay Hek's interest. A weapon that was powerful enough to slay such a large and intimidating sentient was absolutely something that Vay Hek wanted to control, probably with the intention of destroying the Ostron village that was near the corpse of the monster. Whatever secrets that might lead to this terrifying weapon was in a glass lockbox that was impossible to open and required 3 different glass shard keys to unlock it. The Tenno stole away the lockbox from a dig site when they accidentally found it while searching for clues on Seiya's disappearance. After the lockbox was stolen, Vay Hek and the Tenno began racing to gather all the parts of the keys that are required to open said lockbox. Honestly, Vay Hek fumbled his head start like crazy here. It just completely sold any chance he may have had when it came to getting the lockbox open before the Tenno. I mean, first he lost the lockbox to the Tenno, literally letting them steal it from him, and then the Tenno actually boarded and raided his command ship to steal a piece of the glass key needed to open the box. Like, come on, bro, you're fumbling here. He had half the puzzle before the Tenno were even trying to unlock the lockbox, and he still managed to lose the race. Besides Vay Hek being a bitch and losing, he does have a pretty iconic voice line when it comes to his soldiers fighting Eidolon terrorists, which I will now play here.
Evacuation flights have been rescinded. You'll stay out here all night, if that's what it takes. Find that piece before an Eidolon finds you! It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Kill it!
I mean, bro just has such a way with words. I mean, honestly, everybody always talks about how, like, attractive and cool Talregger is, but Vay Hek is just so much smoother and, like, sexier. Like, let's just keep it real, guys. He's pretty sick. And those robotic attachments go crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Anyway, Seiya's Vigil is far from Vay Hek's only incursion into the plains of Eidolon. Eidolon, I don't care. Shut up. Another one of his involvements is Operation Plague Star. And let me tell you, this quest is what really paints the picture to me that Vay Hek isn't close to level of Regger or Vor when it comes to tactical intelligence. An infested boil dropped onto the plains of Eidolon, and with it came lots of the infestation, or at least like the spores that make the infestation, I guess. And they started infesting stuff, because that's what they do, infest things. Not invest, infest. Anyway, Vay Hek's plan in Operation Plague Star was to allow the boil and infestation to develop enough to the point to where it completely overpowered all of the wildlife and ostrons that were living in the plains. After it defeated the ostrons, he planned to use the Thrax toxin to destroy it, and then claim what was left for the Grineer. Obviously, this plan was idiotic. I mean, bro was going to let the infestation take over an entire part of Earth, and then use the poison after. But, like, if the poison was strong enough to completely destroy the infestation after it was allowed to ferment, why the fuck would you have never used it before on any infestation previously? It just doesn't make sense. It's because the Thrax poison wasn't strong enough to destroy the boil, though. Even though the Tenno stole the poison and applied it themselves before the Ostron villagers were massacred when it was still weak, it did, however, weaken the boil a little bit, but was unable to completely destroy it. So imagine the disaster if Vay Hek was able to fully let it develop like he wanted to. I mean, he even sent his own soldiers to defend the infestation from the Tenno. Grade A dumbass. This isn't the end of Vay Hek's attempted missions to the plains of Eidolon, however. Believe it or not, because we still have to talk about the Ghoul Purge. There really isn't like a whole lot to say about the Ghoul Purge in all honesty. Basically, Dr. Tingus and Councilor Vay Hek teamed up to test their ghoul creations for the first time ever in a large-scale assault. They began dropping, them into the plains to test their ferocity and power, which then caused the Tenno to attack the ghoul production plant on Cetus in hopes of slowing down their production. While it did work for the moment, every once in a while Vay Hek still drops a large amount of ghouls onto the plains in order to cause mayhem and torture the Ostron villagers. This pretty much is the extent of Councilor Vay Hek's incursions into the plains of Eidolon. However, their effects are still absolutely felt. Even though he constantly failed to succeed in any of his missions, the plains and Ostron villagers still feel the effects of the ghouls and infestation that he helped empower in the plains. Also, I burned the roof of my mouth, and it's hard for me to say certain words right now, especially ones with S's, and those are very common. What I just mentioned weren't the only incursions that Councilor Vay Hek led on the Earth, only the plains of Eidolon. The first time that Vay Hek was actually seen in the game was during a quest called the Cicero Crisis, which is honestly a pretty insane quest. Also, shout out to Skyrim with that Cicero guy. Wasn't it like the Dark Brotherhood person that is like an insane clown guy? And we're off traffic. Off traffic? We're off topic. What is wrong with me today? Anyway, back to the Cicero Crisis in Warframe. The Grineer are attempting to poison the forest that nearly completely covers the earth in order to gain easier access to fresh water, along with being able to build bases and structures without them quickly becoming overgrown because of the extremely quickly growing, mutated earth vegetation. Basically, Earth became so polluted centuries ago that the Organ attempted to fight back against the pollution and make Earth livable again by increasing the plant life rapidly, but instead just created a massive ever-growing jungle on most of the surface that absolutely grows over and consumes everything, making it unlivable for a different reason. Grineer wants to fight back against this jungle by using the Cicero toxin, so they can begin truly colonizing the Earth and building a massive empire on a planet that has a large amount of access to fresh water that the Grineer needs to survive. The Tenno wants to stop the Grineer from using this toxin on the wildlife, since they don't want the Grineer to create another huge base. I wonder why. One where they would probably have more resources than any other planet that they have yet colonized. Eventually, the Tenno sabotaged and destroyed the largest toxin distributors on Earth in order to stop them from achieving their colonization dreams on planet Earth. I honestly really hope that the Grineer can overcome the Tenno in this situation so that they can create new bases on Earth, which I would really like since the Grineer are my favorite faction. In case you couldn't tell from most of my videos being on Grineer enemies, like if we're being honest here, I've done like the Sergeant for Corpus and then Ford for the Infestation, and that's literally it besides like Ballast, who isn't in a faction. Like I've done like 10 Grineer bosses already. Anyway, moving on. It might now be time to talk about what Vay Hek is best known for, the Fomorian fleets, which are always a cause for huge events when it comes to Warframe. Tethra's Doom is the first time that we hear about Vay Hek's Fomorian fleet, so we'll talk about that first. However, it is important to point out, Tethra's Doom is Vay Hek's first fleet. The first Fomorian fleet was actually seen in Operation Slingstone, where an unknown admiral, probably Vay Hek, was leading the first ever Fomorian fleet against the Corpus. Never really got any idea for sure who was running this fleet, since it was back in 2013 before a lot of the villains were fleshed out, but it probably was Vay Hek. I just really can't find any evidence of it being him from that 2013 mission. I mean, it's 11 years later, so we're just going to sit here and act like Tethra's Doom was the first time that Vay Hek got a chance at running the fleet. The Tenno only learned about the incoming Fomorian fleet because Lewis sent them on a mission to rescue Darvo from his father, Freud Beck. Since Freud Beck, no relation to that one weird Nickelodeon Beck, by the way, let's just make that clear. Freud Beck is cool, guys. He doesn't do anything to kids. That was dark, holy shit. I don't know if I can keep that in the video. Since Freud Beck isn't a super common name in the Warframe universe, I'll just give a quick summary of who he is, since I think he's a pretty cool guy. Essentially, he's currently the head chairman of the Corpus Board of Directors, and holds a huge amount of wealth and power within the Corpus Empire. The reason we don't have a lot of quests centered around him is because he generally tries to stay on the neutral or good terms with the Tenno. He recognizes that they're the most powerful entities that are active in the Origin system, and it's more beneficial to be on, good terms with them than it is bad terms, while pleading with his son Darvo not to leave the Corpus with the Tenno. He mentions how Project Tethra will be the death of them all, which Lotus later figures out is the codename for the rebuilding of the Fomorian fleet. Even though Vay Hek only planned to target the Corpus with the Fomorian fleets, Lotus believed that would be preferable to ensure that the Corpus survived the attacks in order to continue checking the Grineer instead of just allowing the Grineer to become the dominant faction in the universe after severely wounding the Corpus. Basically, she doesn't want either faction to get too powerful, and allowing the Grineer to fully create their fleet would create an imbalance of power. Due to this line of thinking, the Lotus and Tenno destroy the Fomorian power cores in order to severely affect the production of said ships. However, the Tenno start by actually destroying the wrong cores, and Councilor Vay Hek, and what must have been an incredible lapse of judgment, was the one that alerted them that they were simply destroying auxiliary cores in this message.
Tenno! You think you're winning? You have only been attacking the auxiliary cores. Did you really believe it would be this easy? You are running out of time. There will be nowhere to hide from my Fomorians. And when the last of you is gone, I will personally throw your beloved Lotus into the sun!
My mouth is still burnt. Their washer is running, the air is loud in my house, it's too hot to turn it off. This is about to be the worst audio of all time for a video. But, talking about audio, Councilor Vay Hek, his voice actor, is fucking amazing. I actually don't know who it is. I'm going to look it up for later in the video. But holy shit, Councilor Vay Hek sounds so fucking good. This guy deserves, like, such sloppy toppy. Not from me. I mean, maybe from... This guy deserves a reward, is all I'm saying. But anyway, getting back into the lore of it, I'm not really sure why Vay Hek would inform the Tenno about this. Like, it doesn't really make sense, like, about the shield core shit. Why wouldn't you just keep letting them target the auxiliary cores, or let them think they destroyed all the cores while you build up your fleet? Anyway, since Vay Hek alerted the Tenno, they increased their efforts and started destroying the right cores at such a high rate that Vay Hek retreated into hiding and seemingly stopped the planned assault on the Corpus for now. Basically, his plan to deal a huge amount of damage to the Corpus machine totally failed because the Tenno got involved, and Vay Hek specifically alerted the Tenno on how to stop him. I'm pretty sure that Talregger wouldn't make this mistake. Just saying, guys. Just saying, Talregger's the GOAT. I'm gonna ride that dick. Or let's be honest, I don't think anyone really would have made that mistake. Typically, you wouldn't call up your enemy and let them know what they need to do to beat you. That's just typically something that you don't want to do, guys. James Atkins is the voice of Vay Hek, guys, from what I could find. He's the absolute GOAT. Vay Hek, in my opinion, has the best voice in Warframe. Yes, Talregger's is sexier, but I think Vay Hek has the best voice that kind of fits his character and fits a Grineer enemy, so huge W to James Atkins. Anyway, moving on to the next quest that deals with Fomorians is the Archwing quest. Tethra's Doom was just Vay Hek's first attempt at building the Fomorian fleet, and it was absolutely far from his last. In the mission titled simply the Archwing, it shows a Councilor Vay Hek that actually managed to build up his Fomorian fleet, presumably because he didn't announce to the Tenno they needed to target the shield cores this time. In order to defeat those Fomorians, Lewis has the Tenno craft a piece of equipment called the Archwing in order to fly around in space. After crafting the Archwing, the Tenno attempts to learn more about the incoming fleet by raiding a nearby Corpus ship for information. While raiding said ship, the Fomorian fleet shows up and absolutely blasts the dog piss out of it. I mean, the timing is insane. It's almost like Vay Hek knew the Tenno were on the Corpus ship when he decided to attack. He didn't, but it sure as hell feels like he somehow knew. The Tenno manages to escape the wreckage of the ship by using their Archwing, and it's presumed that Freud Beck, the head counselor for the Corpus, also probably finds a way to escape. Or at least I hope he did. We haven't really got to see a lot of him in the game. And like I said earlier, he's friendlier with the Tenno than essentially every other enemy in the game. He's kind of cool. The Archwing missions lead into Operation Eyes of Blight. In Operation Eyes of Blight, Councilor Vay Hek decides to use his Fomorian fleet to target the relays that the Tenno and all sorts of other travelers make use of instead of the Corpus. This attack on the relays was Vay Hek's way of avenging the Tenno, defending the Corpus in his previous Fomorian assault. Vay Hek was somewhat successful in this assault and destroyed half of the relays that the Tenno regularly use. The Vesper, Strata, Linov, and Kuiper relays were all destroyed, with the Strata relay eventually being rebuilt. While I think that his assault was fairly successful, the Queens did not, and they thought they should have successfully destroyed every relay, which honestly seems like an impossible task when your primary enemies are the Tenno, who are the strongest things to ever exist. This is what they exactly said. Councilor Vay Hek! I need a female voice actor, guys. Let's just be real. I just need a female voice actor. My mouth is burned. I'm trying to do this. It hurts my... Whatever. We'll try their best. Counselor Vay Hek, you're for... I don't even sound like... This is terrible. This is legitimately the most worst thing I've ever done before in my entire life. Councilor Vay Hek, your Fomorian assault on the Tenno has been an abject failure. You have exhausted our entire Baylor fleet, yet the Tenno still raid our ships and gather in their relays. Are you even aware of the resources you have squandered? Do you understand how much oxygen goes into a single Fomorian? We put great faith in your abilities, Counselor, but we see now that the faith was misplaced. Perhaps Talregger will prove a more competent replacement. We await your penance. I'm cooked. My voice is cooked. My throat hurts. This is awful. I have one female voice, guys. Like, I can only do one girl voice. It's awful. It sounds like Mickey Mouse. I know it doesn't sound like the Queens, but I literally just can't sound like the Queens, okay? I just can't. I have a kind of a deep voice, guys. Anyway. Since this message, there really hasn't been any major Grineer assaults. While there are still Fomorian events, they don't hold the weight or consequences of the Eyes of Blight operation. After the destruction of the relays, the Lotus sent the Tenno after Vay Hek in a quest called the Laws of Retribution. This quest would lead the Tenno into several traps, one of which being a direct confrontation Confrontation with the Grusstrike 3. This quest spanned over 3 years of real-world time, with every attempt on Vay Hek's life throughout those 3 years completely failing. Vay Hek is still alive to this day, and is one of the very few high-ranking Grineer commanders who aren't canonically dead. For that matter, he might be the only high-ranking Grineer commander that isn't dead except Dr. Tingus. So like Dr. Tingus, Vay Hek, and Vor, but Vor isn't even Grineer anymore. He's like Void, so good on them, I guess. Before I give my final thoughts on Vay Hek, I think that it is important to note that he was a lead Grineer commander during the Sentient attack during the New War quest. I don't know a ton about his counter-offensive, but we do see him pay respects to Cal for his fight against the Sentients, and I'll go ahead and play that dialogue here.
I salute you, 175. For the Queens!
All in all, Vay Hek isn't some sort of genius, and he wasn't born stronger or more talented than your average Grineer soldier. He wasn't blessed with intelligence like Talregger or Vor, and he wasn't as strong as someone like Sargus Rook. That's why I referenced the American Dream when talking about him in the beginning, because it seemed a relevant theme in his origin story. Obviously, I stopped really talking about it when we got to the point that he was firmly in control of the entire Grineer military in the timeline, and because of the death of Talregger, it would appear that he is still currently the overall head of the Grineer military. Vay Hek is a pretty fun guy, Grineer to the core. Even if his body is made of iron, guys, he's still Grineer, okay? He's still Grineer, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It took me way too long to get it out. My mouth is on fire. I was being lazy. I'm sure something else happened. I got all kinds of excuses. I can just we got all kinds here, guys. But I honestly think this is one of the best videos I ever made, if not the best video. I just put actually a lot more work into it than I ever had before. So that also contributed to it taking forever. Still way too long. It's been 20 days. So sorry for that. I really appreciate a like or sub or anything like that, please, and leave your thoughts in the comments on the video. I use all sorts of different videos and music in my video, and you can see all of them in the description of this video. I think I've only honestly used like 30 different videos, like it's a ridiculous amount of videos in this video. So thank you to everyone whose content I may have stolen. You are fully credited in the description. I used a bunch of different people because a lot of these events happened so long ago. It's hard to really, get my own footage of it, and so it's just kind of difficult. So I did use a lot of content that wasn't my own. All of it is credited, so shout out to everyone in the hopes that you don't copyright strike me for using like 2 minutes of your video. Anyway, hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay blessed. Also, here's me completing the Vay Hek assassination mission and commenting on it. Also, some of my unscripted thoughts on Vay Hek. So it's going to be my assassination mission here in a second. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, every video I use and music I use is in the description, and it is in order of when it shows up in the video, or it should be at least. Thank you guys all so much for the support, and enjoy the assassination mission. Peace out. Guys, today we are doing the Vay Hek assassination mission. I finally almost fully recorded my video for Vay Hek and finished editing it almost. So I'm doing the assassination mission here at the ending after I researched him for literal days upon days, and then took a break for days, and then burned my mouth for days. But we are about to get this video out. I'm so excited to get this video out. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do the Vay Hek assassination mission. I did it a couple of times while making this video just to get all of his dialogue lines and just, experience the Vay Hek experience. So I'm not really going to be too surprised by anything. Like, I'm the Talregger mission. That was the first time I fought Talregger in, like, literal years. But this time my computer's without a condition and die. Holy shit. Wow, that's so funny. He's laughing at my computer. Dude's really about to DDoS my computer. I don't know why it's so loud right now. Holy moly, you guys hear that? Warframe absolutely just bums my computer, I guess. I don't know why it's acting like that, though. That's actually insane. That's concerning, actually. It's never been this loud before. Donate, guys, in the console below so I can buy a desktop instead of a laptop. Everyone donate me $1,000. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's a joke, obviously. Unless you're a millionaire, then it's not a joke. Spread your wealth, please. Anyway, moving on. Vay Hek is actually, he went from being kind of like a lame villain to me. The more I made the video, the more and more I liked him. That's kind of how it's worked with almost all my videos, though. Except the Twin Queens. I think the Twin Queens are a really cool concept, but just aren't executed well at all. I think the Twin Queens are one of the weakest villains in Warframe, or at least they're on the Grineer side, because in concept they're like so cool and such a good idea to me, like but in reality they kind of just suck balls. Like, if we're being real, like if we're just being real. But I never liked Vay Hek, but after doing this, making this video, I actually had like a new respect for Vay Hek. because, you know, he's just kind of an asshole, guys. It's not a whole lot to go on. Like with Talregger and Captain Vor. Holy crap, is my computer okay? What in the world? Do you guys hear that? This is what it's like making videos with... Holy shit. That's not good. That's actually not good. What the fuck? Why is it doing this? What? There's nothing... It's just Warframe. It's just Warframe. Dude. I mean, Warframe takes a lot to run, but this much? Oh, it's on performance. I'm literally in it. That's my fault, guys. It's literally on max speed. It's literally on max speed. Holy shit. Okay, guys. That's my bad. That's my bad. Look, that's my bad, guys. Anyway, this has gotten off topic already. Anyway, I think Vay Hek's a really cool villain because he's just an asshole. Like with Talregger and Vor, I was able to spin it in a way to where they're not really like evil. They just have the Grenier's best interest at heart. Oh, hey, Vay. Hey, Vay. How you doing, Vay? How you doing, Vay? How you doing, Vay? Also, I know you can just run past them, guys. It's just I'm doing this for the video, obviously. I actually did learn that recently. Someone in the comments actually let me know that you could just run by them. So whoever did that, big shout out to you. I kind of forgot who it was because it was really like months ago or a month ago at this point. But shout out to that guy, dude. Shout out to that guy. Everyone, give that guy a like if you see that comment. I don't know, it's just cool to have a villain that's just an asshole and like with no deeper meaning. It's like he has lots of lore and shit too, and he's very involved. And throughout all of it, he's literally just been an asshole. So it's like that's kind of huge, you know, because you have all these villains that I feel like, you know, obviously the villains that don't get fleshed out much are just kind of assholes. But most of the fleshed out villains have something going for them. But in Vay Hek's scenario, he's just like an asshole. There's nothing deeper going on here. He's just a piece of shit. Honestly, besides Ballast, low-key, because Ballast is also just a piece of shit. So maybe that's not true, because Ballast is also just a piece of shit. He has more lore than really any other villain at this point. And there's really, like, no reason that he's such a piece of shit. Like, there is no reason Ballast is as evil as he is. Like, he's just a bad person. He's like, the worst person ever, like, if we're being honest here. Do I even have my abilities on? Did I die? Did I die while I was... What the fuck am I doing? Okay, I'm using a PS controller. I don't know if I told you guys that, because I get, like, not arthritis. Like, I'm getting like the early onset arthritis, I think, from playing with my mouse pad for like hours at a time and editing and recording footage. So I switched to a PS controller, even though I don't even have a PS. It's actually my sister's PS controller. I have it hooked up to my computer right now. That's what I've been playing with recently. So W Sister and WPS controller. Also, I know I just skipped by him there, and that's because I was feeling lazy. Watch this headshot. Watch this headshot. Bang. Oh, I thought I was one of them. Dang, dude. Undo your dumbass thing, bro. Do your dumbass thing, bro. Okay. There we go. Finally. Holy shit. But yeah, I know, like, there's been no content recently, so I really do apologize for that. No streams, no videos, no anything. Not even a short, guys. I don't know what I've been on, guys. I just lost all motivation. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. JK, I've actually been working on this video for a very long time. I don't know. It's like I didn't lose motivation. Like I thought, like I don't know. It's almost like I was too into it. I think I needed a short break, guys, from making content because like I was like thinking about it constantly. You know, it was like almost unhealthy. And it's like I don't make like money off. Like I do, but not enough to mean anything. Like, right, I've made $200 off this channel so far. So it's like I was treating it like it's a job, and it's not a job. It's supposed to be just me making videos about a game I really like. I think me taking a break and just thinking about that, why I did the Vay Hek video, and taking like my really long time with it, I think that helped me get back on track. Like, hey, this is not like for money. This is not for like fame or clout or whatever. Like, that's not how I should be thinking. It's because I enjoy making these videos, and I do. And that's why I took such a long break and didn't really see like, you know, worst weapon videos and stuff like that. Even those are fun, but it's like obviously making these deep dives on villains is what I really enjoy doing, and like definitely the best part of this channel to me. Can you transform? Transformer? Can you become a transformer? Please, brother. Please transform, brother. Please. Damn, I forgot how much health this guy has. Oh, apparently not. Why did I skip the cinematic when we're supposed? Okay, I'm just an idiot, guys. I apologize. I legitimately apologize. We were supposed to watch that together and react, guys. Real time react. If this thing goes up, that one real quick. He always escapes. That's one thing I respect about Vay Hek, is that he's like the only not actually dead villain. It's actually insane. Like, everyone else is just dead. But Vay Hek, bro, he keeps on going. Also, look at my new Kuba weapons, guys. Now it's been forever since I posted, but I literally love this game. It's my favorite, like one of my favorite games of all time. Not my favorite, but definitely one of my favorite. Do I not have my? Yeah, my Kuba new core. I got a new core, guys. It's pretty cool. It's impact damage though, so it's actually ass. But I don't know if that's good. I don't think that's good for a new core. I think it's supposed to be like radiation or some shit. But I've been killing like hella licks in my free time just for fun. I've killed like 2 licks, I think. That's why I have 2 more green. I've killed 3 licks actually. Now that I think about it. Hey, friend. The new core is pretty cool. It spreads like all these enemies, which is neat. And it's just really bright. It's kind of like the Eclipse, guys. Kind of like the Eclipse. Let's go ahead and get here and end this video. I'm literally tripping. I was supposed to like talk about interesting stuff this whole time, but instead I've been talking like I'm on drugs. Also, guys, as I said earlier in the video, I do need 2 more voice actors. Like, let's be real here, guys. That Twin Queen impression was not the best Twin Queen impression ever. It was the worst one ever. You know, I only need 2 more voice actors. I need, come on, guys, we're Warframe players here. Let's be honest. Everyone here is a man. I need men that sound like girls. I need femboy voice actors. I need femboy voice actors, guys. Hook me up with some femboy voice actors, so we can make the best Warframe video of all time. Okay. Okay, femboy. Like, let's be real here. The ratio of Warframe players being women to femboys, it's probably higher to be femboys. Like, I do apologize to the one girl in the audience. You are a legend. I love you. But let's be honest, dude. Like, you gotta be outnumbered by femboys, bro. Like, let's just be real. See, this is why I make scripts, guys. Because this is what happens to the conversations when it's not scripted. I'm not even weird, dude. I promise I'm not weird in person. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. Let's just end this video, guys. I should have scripted this. I should have scripted the assassination mission. Okay. I'm on drugs. I watch too much YouTube commentary videos, guys. Too much Papa Gut, too much turkey talk. Okay. Let's get out of here. It's rotting my brain.
They won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.